Good evening, everybody. This is Proshun sir once again. As said yesterday, it is the second part of the things I'll suggest for the sake of your board exam. This video is exclusively for the students of ICSE class 10th and it is made about the do's and don'ts regarding the exam. So yesterday precisely I have just given you something, what are the main structure of the questions, but today I'll go for something which you should and which you should not. This is also a part of the suggestion. In the next video, it will take a couple of days because I'm just making it from all the topics. I'm just making that suggestion, which is a pinpoint one, from which you will directly get what to study and you will get the common questions. So here we are starting with the parts which is a reduced and the deleted part. You should not focus there, and the part where you should focus and you should focus more have been made in the chart. So starting with the first chapter, the periodic properties in the table, chapter number 1. Here you see beyond periodic table you are not getting a single question, which means that if you are getting something regarding electronic configuration, it will be up to the K, L and M shell. So after the M shell and after the third period, you are not getting a single question. It has been notified this year. Now what to study? Now you see, you are getting some questions. Arrange the following, greater than, lesser than, all these things. Now whenever you are writing that arrange the following questions, whatever mistakes you have made in the exam, I repeat once again, you don't put the signs. You need to put the greater than or the lesser than signs accordingly. Now trends on the basis of the nuclear charge is very important. See, I have just put a red subline here. So this should be studied at any cost. Atomic size, it is less important. That doesn't mean that you will not go through it. You will go through it for sure. But the first topic you must go through because you will get a good amount of questions from this part. This is the most important thing where you need to focus. This is the thing that is, I've already said, any atomic configuration or any element having configuration of the electrons in the shell as KLM. I mean, after the M shell, you are not getting a question. So I hope you understood. So atoms with configuration only up to K, L and M shell, you should concentrate. But yes, 2 atoms are there, potassium and calcium. You should go through it. So this is the thing which you need not to focus at all for the board exam of this year as prescribed by the board. So coming to the next part, chemical bonding, it is one of the toughest chapter. It is a tedious one. It is also a painful chapter. It will also give you some pain in class 11th and 12th. Whatever. Now the orbital structure is not mandatory. It was given in the syllabus just for the enhancement of your knowledge. It was done in the class for the same purpose also. But you don't need to focus a single thing on this. Now a question may come then regarding bonding, what to do. Leaving the orbital structure, that means the nucleus, then all the shells, that thing I mean here. So leaving that, you should focus on the entire chapter, while these are the topics: electron dot structure of different elements with different signs, that means the ionic and the covalent compounds, the formation. This is the most important thing where you should focus, because there is a chance that you must get questions from this part, because these things, whatever you see in this column, are frequently been asked by the board. Now what to do, you know very well from the Lewis dot diagram, if you are dealing with the structures, how to suppose in case of covalent compound, the central atom must have dot while the rest should have the cross. In case of ionic compound, for example NaCl, NaCl is important, CaCl2 is also important. You need to put dot in the corresponding metal and cross in the corresponding anion. So whatever, this you should keep in mind. Now coming to acid, base and salts, a vast chapter though, very important. Now there are some topics where you need not to focus. For example, the apparatus used in the experiments, the procedure and also the general properties. These are some of the things, I mean the general properties of the salt, and any sort of diagram based questions are expected to the maximum extent not to be asked in the exam as said by the board officials, as observed. Now what to focus? See, excluding this, all the things are important as I'm telling continuously. So these are the topics, especially the chemical reactions and equations. From this topic you should prepare very well and furnish the equations as and when required in the questions. Now, definition of the basic salt is important. Acid base indicator, very, very important. And obviously, all these things, these are the most important, but rest are less important, and these are not important. Am I clear? Now, coming to the fourth chapter, analytical chemistry, where you get 3 marks question. Nothing is deleted, everything is there in the syllabus. So you need to focus everything. What to do? The chemical reactions of the tests, especially the test which you get for NaOH and NH4H. Repeated times I have shown in the lab, at least 8 to 9 times I must have shown these things. So these equations you are to practice. It is also there in the chemistry project where you have written down. And again I say, what happens when you give some reagent in excess, when you don't give some reagent in excess? Color, observation, PPT, and need not to mention the chemical reactions related to this. Now coming to the practical part, now this is also common in the practical. In the practical, you also get the identification and observation. So acid, base and salt is there. You should focus there. Evolution of gases, some equations are there. You should focus. And the test of copper oxide and manganese dioxide. I mean cupric oxide and manganese dioxide. Now mole concept, the chemical arithmetic part and the numericals in chemistry. Now molecular mass equal to 2 into vapor density. This formula you need to know, and this formula is used for the numericals, but the proof of this formula is not in the syllabus. It was asked by the board to teach in the class for the enhancement of your knowledge, but not in the case of the board exam. So the proof of this formula is not coming in the board exam, but numericals based on this formula will come in the board exam. I mean, it may come in the board exam. Except this, empirical mass, very, very important. Gram molecular mass, gram atomic mass, atomicity, and there are some other numericals where you get a chemical equation. You need to find out whether it is following the law of conservation of mass, something like that. So all those things should be focused. These are the things where you should keep your eyes the most focused topics. Others are less focused topics, and the derivation is only not to focus. Coming to electrolysis and metallurgy, as already said, nothing official about it. Everything you need to memorize, nothing to explain even. Now coming to electrolysis, electrometallurgy part in application of electrolysis is not there. It's a small topic though, but need not to be happy because this comes under the realm of the second chapter. Whatever. Now coming to these things, difference between electroplating, electrorefining, and the particles present while electrolysis. Now whatever compounds are there, for example lead bromide, copper sulfate, whatever, I am just telling one or two, but all those compounds you should prepare. So except this, the whole chapter, that means 99% of the chapter should be done. Now metallurgy, if you say, leaching or the chemical method of dressing of ore is not so important. Figure based diagrams may be there, one or two are there, for example froth flotation and magnetic separation. They may be asked in part number 3 of question number 2, first part, may not be asked. Now among these 5 alloys you need to prepare, already discussed in the class. Alloys of copper, alloys of aluminum, alloys of iron, and alloys of mercury and calcium, along with zinc, magnesium, whatever. Now electrorefining of these 2 elements are important. Again I repeat, leaving these things, these 2 are important. Then pulverization is there, roasting, calcination, all those things you should prepare as much as possible because they are some of the frequently asked questions. But these are the hot topics where you may get questions. Amongst the metals, aluminum is the most important, but that doesn't mean that you will not go through the other things. Now these 4 chapters, 8, 9, 10, 11, they are a bundle because 16 marks are there. It is not the question that all of them are full, something like that. They may carry any weightage. Now coming to HCl, hydrochloric acid, uses, for definition of aqua regia, uses the oxidation of HCl and the chemical properties of the acid in general, not as dissolved in the water. I mean, not the solution is important, but in general, these things are not so important. They are deleted. But this part you say aqua regia, how it is formed, in which way it is formed, and what are the uses, then preparation, precaution, collection of gas. Now fountain experiment, this is the most important part in HCl, not only in HCl, also in ammonia. I am coming to it. Now coming to ammonia, cleansing agent equation is not required. Cleansing agent, how it is working, you must study. Equation is not required. It was taught in the class just for your knowledgement. Now these things all uses actions of warm H2O, laboratory preparation, fountain experiment, all these things, collection and all, whatever are their properties, etc. This is the thing where you should focus the most, but the rest you should also focus. Only excluding this part. I hope I'm clear to everybody. Now coming to nitric acid, use is not in the syllabus for this year. You must not focus, but the brown ring test along with the chemical equation must be covered. That is very important. Now conditions in which it is formed, Oswald process in ammonia I have just skipped out. Keep the thing in mind. Haber process, the laboratory preparation of HCl. These are some of the important things. Process, procedures, etc. They must be done. Coming to the part of organic chemistry, the thing which actually disturbs the student, and here comes the pain. Only the preparation of ketones, ethers, functional groups, these are not so important. Preparation of acetic acid, it will be not asked directly, but it can come as part of some of the questions. So only these things should be left out. But among the cyclic compounds, only benzene is important. Others, you must just go through it, not so important. And whatever compounds you're getting, for example, IUPAC, writing the name, then common name is given, draw the structure, whether to draw expanded, compressed, whatever, and all other things in the chapter. They are important. Now, all the compounds will be asked having only one functional group. So, this part you should focus the most. Now, to speak the truth, it is 80% of the chapter, and this is about 10%. So 90% of the chapter should be done. Only you need not to see the preparation of acetic acid, ketones, ethers, and in the functional group. So again I say ketone and ether are not so important, but rest is very, very important. So these are actually the various things which you should go and which you should you must not see or just leave aside. So I've just made a thing. I just made a research work with the 10 years question that comes in the board. Now a question comes, sir, what about the pinpoint thing? Now pinpoint suggestion will be supplied to you after a couple of days, because you know beta it takes some time. इसमें तो बेटा थोड़ा सा टाइम लगेगा ना बनाने में, तो बनाएंगे उसको भी. I'll make it. So it is on the process. There you will always understand, but keep this chart in your mind, because it is the last moment you are studying, and prepare. So these things you should prepare by heart, and after that, excluding this, rest should be prepared. So I wish you all are studying well. So prepare well accordingly. My best wishes are always with you. So good night.